July 17th Commissioners meeting to order with all three commissioners in attendance. And at this time, Peggy, would you read the minutes of our July 15th meeting?
The Board of Hocking County Commissioners met in regular session 15th day of July 2014 with the following members present: Clark Sheets, John Walker, San Diego. The meeting was called to order by President San Diego. July 10th, 2014 minutes approved. Motion by Clark Sheets, second by John Walker to approve the agenda. Vote was unanimous. County resident Jim Perkins asked the commissioners if they had found out more regarding the coroner's bill. Sandy said no. Motion by John Walker, second by Clark Sheets to approve the sewer district report for the month of June. Vote was unanimous. Sandy asked if the Metropolitan Housing was run by the board or who runs it. John said he thought it would be the board. Sandy said she'd find out. Sandy also asked if the brickyard lease was for all the brickyard, as the homeless shelter had inquired. Clark stated the brickyard is required to be commercial as it is not residential. Motion by Clark Sheets, second by John Walker to adjourn the meeting. Vote was unanimous. That concludes our minutes.
Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? If not, they'll stand approved as read. Do I have approval of the agenda, please?
Second.
Everyone in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there any public comment? If none, we'll move on to our bills. Do we have a motion to pay the bills?
So moved. Second.
With one that still needs signed by the auditor. Approve the bills. Everyone in favor, signal by saying aye. Motion carries. Okay, we're moving forward here. Our 9:15 appointment is not here. But we have a contract here, and this is the 2014 and 2015 agreement with the 317 Board to supply homemaker service to Hocking County. The board shall pay two payments of $2,201.50 each in July and January. Please sign and return both copies to me at your convenience. So the signature, it is requiring the President of the Board to sign it. So do we have a motion for the President of the Board to sign, please?
Second.
Everyone in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, as we move forward here, this is the lease. This lease is entered into on the 17th day of July 2014 between Hocking County and the Athens-Hocking Joint Solid Waste District for purposes of leasing property and the existing buildings for the leasee as what has been known as the Hocking County Public Recycle Drop-Off. The space is to be leased for a term to commence on August the 1st, 2014 and to end on August the 31st, 2020 or such earlier time and date as this lease provides for herein. It is being leased for the total annual rent is a sum of $1. So do I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
And this requires all three commissioners to sign and our prosecutor to sign. Okay, the next thing is this is an application for approval of underground construction on Hocking County right-of-way. The applicant is the Columbia Gas of Ohio. Request to install new gas service lines at 44456 Carbon Hill, Brookville Road. We are enclosing our map sketch and our ticket number. This will take 1 day to install, and we will use a backhoe, and our crews will take care of the traffic flow with flags and signs. We'll handle the restoration of this property. I can pass it down there if you want to look at it real quick.
that on these for like a recycling bin.
For the property out there.
Yeah.
That's for the bat cave?
Yes. On Sutton Road.
Yep.
Do you guys have any business to be brought before the board?
They're hanging out with Caleb, how much you
Pardon?
See what's the start of the better here.
I'll second.
Everyone in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Hello?
Do we recess? Yeah, sign it.
Back into session, and you have the floor.
Great. Yeah, I was,
Okay, are we back in session? Okay, we're ready.
I'm just in between. Yeah, I happened to notice that the writ of mandamus was dismissed because of a remedy, and I didn't know if you guys knew what the remedy was.
I don't.
You don't? Okay. Okay, good enough. I also wanted to ask, I just had 3 questions. That was one of them. The next one is the Dr. Gorniak's bill hadn't been paid, and there was a question of, it wasn't on letterhead. Is that something, is that a rule or something?
Well, I think that we looked at a little more description of what it was, and what it was for.
It wasn't an itemized bill.
Okay, but that's not what the dispatch told me, and that's not what the Living Daily told me. They told me that you said it was because it wasn't on letterhead, and I wanted to know if there's a certain rule or something that we have to put on letterhead.
I would assume if I sent a bill, that I would send it on the letterhead from where it came. It should, I feel, should where it
It
came.
was a personal bill, though. It was not from Franklin County. It was from the doctor herself. It's her personal account, so she doesn't have her own. And I can go ask her to get a letterhead of her name to put on it. But I didn't know that, since you denied it, if it was because there's a rule that says that you have to submit all bills on a letterhead from somebody. Is that, do you have to submit all bills on letterhead?
We've never had this problem occur before.
Everybody has always submitted a bill on letterhead until her bill.
I can only say that the bills that I have saw.
Every bill in the last 5.5 years.
I can't say what every bill has been, I'm saying the ones that I have saw.
Every bill there's a rule that says all bills should be submitted on letterhead. I mean, that's what you told the paper. Actually, I thought the reason was denied is I didn't have enough money in there. Is that wrong? I mean, I thought I had $3,900 something and it was a $4,000 bill. I thought it was denied because there wasn't enough money in there. But you told the dispatch in the Living Daily it was because it wasn't submitted on letterhead.
I thought it should be submitted on letterhead.
It should be, but, so, this is a new rule, because it didn't exist before, or what? I'm just trying to figure out the system here. Because if I have an individual submit a bill, then they have to create a letterhead with their name on it, because it's not from her office, it's her personal. She had 4 deaths on that Sunday. She was at home, she was not on duty, she covered the county, just as I was told I should have a county coroner cover me. I submitted the bill, it wasn't paid, it hasn't been paid. I was told there's going to be a legal opinion from the County Commissioners Association of Ohio whether or not I could really pay a coroner. Nobody got back to me on that, as I was promised on the Monday. Apparently our prosecutor doesn't give that opinion, I'm not sure. But the question is my final question on that matter is there a rule, it's a yes or no question, is there a rule that all bills have to be submitted on a letterhead to be paid?
I would have to look that up.
So you just didn't know for sure, but you said that happened.
What I said, and I will say again, is if somebody presents a bill to me for $4,000, I would like to see it itemized, and I would like to see where it
But
comes
you
from that
knew
person.
it was $500 a day because they gave you the contract the month before.
You showed us a contract that said that, and we didn't sign that.
Okay, I will have her submit it on, maybe as, I don't know, she'll have to create her own letterhead or something, but okay. The last thing is so, the money, there is money to pay her for the $4,000 or not? Because I was under the impression that I only had about $3,900.
I thought,
Yeah, I think the concern with the bill was, since it was directly to her, that we had questioned whether that's the way it's normally done. And the only answer I got back was that that's the wording that I heard was highly unusual, but it didn't say it was illegal.
Then you have like a legal opinion
Yeah.
from the county commissioner's
Well,
association of Ohio?
well, it wasn't exactly a legal opinion. It was just their or I want to say, when I talked to them, that they said that normally, it's, they don't really bill from one county to the other, I think. And that this is, it's just very unusual the way this was. That normally, I think, as it's been stated before, that one county covers for another. So that we had questions about the legality, of being paid directly to her.
Okay.
And
That's what you told me initially.
Well, the answer that I heard got back was, it's just unusual, but it was not said, or was not illegal.
Okay. So the first opinion I heard when I called you on a Tuesday is you were going to check on the bill. And on the Wednesday before I left, you told me that there was a questionable legality, that it was a holiday weekend, and you weren't going to be able to get back. My attorney called your attorney, who said, and she said it really wasn't her problem, according to my attorney. And so you said you get back to me on Monday about a legal opinion from the County Commissioners Association of Ohio, and that's why it wasn't being paid. Then she said in the paper, two papers, you did, said that it wasn't paid not because of the questionable legality of it, but because it wasn't submitted on letterhead. So when I look at it, I thought it was not being paid because there was not really $4,000 in the budget. There's only like $3,900 left. Does anybody know that to be factual? Because that's what my budget says. Because we had shifted all the money around, and so my last question is, I read in here, Mr. Sheets, that you said that I'm hiding money. You didn't say that.
I said you're transferring monies around in accounts. That's all I said.
So is there money in my accounts? Because you said that the reason, part of this it says, I'm just saying, this is what the newspaper said, kind of bothered me.
I didn't say it. The paper can print whatever they want, but I understand it, Mr. Jones.
So you are in agreement that I'm not really hiding money?
You're transferring monies around. You're not hiding money. It's all right here.
Okay, so, thank you. Any questions for me?
I had a question. A few minutes ago, you made the statement that the commissioner said that you need to get a coroner to cover for you when you're not here, when you're gone. You're entitled to vacations, everybody is, and I'm not objecting to that. But I don't think I ever said that you needed to have a coroner cover for you. What I said was that you need to have someone to cover for you. Does it have to be a coroner?
Okay, so,
Can you get a
have a
doctor?
sheriff tomorrow, I can slap a gun belt on him and say, you're a sheriff, you don't need any training.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
But that's a predicament you're putting me in.
No,
You're saying
I'm not
I should
putting
have
you in
a
that
non-trained person.
I'm just asking you, can't you get a doctor to cover for you?
So this doctor here, he can be a sheriff tomorrow, I'll put a gun belt on him, he can be a sheriff. He doesn't know the laws. But, doctors are doctors. Whether they're a pediatrician or an OBGYN, doesn't mean they have any forensic training whatsoever. They can go get forensic training. Okay, it's offered every 2 years, I believe, in December for new coroners. But you just can't go slap a gun belt on a guy and say, you're a sheriff tomorrow.
So you just can't get it, I'm just asking for your opinion here. So at the doctors at the hospital out here, you just can't ask one of those doctors, can you cover for me this weekend if there's a death?
Okay, I can, but it's not prudent. And second of all, I don't have any doctors in this town that will cover me because I've asked. And by the way, my attorney had me do that to all the doctors, and the doctors will not cover me. Just in case we went any further on that issue. So, when one of you two called the Athens County Coroner and got a body release somewhere illegally, that you did, And do you know what his coverage is in Athens County?
I don't.
He has 2 employees. One's a nurse, sounds familiar, and one's a mortician. Athens County, that's pretty similar to our county. And he doesn't need coverage because he has coverage 24 hours a day, similar to what we had 14 years in a row until 2014.
Athens County, I think, is considerably larger than us. Good on the difference.
Whatever, but, I mean, if you want to go larger, we can talk about the $41,000-something part-time salary of the chief investigator in Fairfield County.
But see,
And the
I don't
deputy
see how you can
Yeah, they-
compare us to Fairfield County.
Dr. Fleming, they have a population of, what, 146,000?
Okay, so how do you expect this county to be covered 24 hours a day, 365, when I have 4 children who have soccer tournaments or whatever? Okay. How do you expect?
How did it happen before?
I had 2 employees that you guys got rid of.
We didn't get rid of them.
You didn't pay them, whatever you want to call it.
No.
Okay, well, it's an argument that's not
This
anybody.
argument's going to be a continuing argument.
Okay,
so
well, thank you.
Can I just ask
Just
you one more
continue
question?
to argue. And if you can't get coverage when you're out of town, I guess you need to make arrangements or just...
So last time I wasn't in town, my attorney talked to the prosecutor and he said, you're not going to have coverage because I can't spend money that I'm allotted, okay? And he's being, just let me complete my thought, yes. And he said there will not be coroner coverage, that everybody will go into the morgue and sit there until he gets back and he'll deal with the dead bodies when he gets back, okay? By the way, I left Thursday morning and Thursday night, an elderly lady who was in her 80s died. And she sat in that morgue till Sunday, right?
No,
Saturday?
Saturday evening.
Saturday evening, so you made the call.
I made the call.
Okay, so you're the coroner, great.
No, I didn't.
So
I asked.
I'm almost done.
Okay,
So my quote would be to you that until somebody important enough dies in this town, people are going to lay in the morgue for days until there's enough pressure put on our local government, me, you, all of us, prosecutor, whatever, until we get that, that's going to be the problem, right? Somebody important has to die and sit in that morgue long enough until something changes.
I don't think that's true because everybody, there is not one person that is more, excuse me, important than somebody else.
That's why that
We're
leads
all human beings.
Because you weren't available, otherwise or anything, or made arrangements before you left town with an adjoining coroner that would have covered for you if you'd have asked.
dismissed. Yeah.
What?
Okay.
So hey, if you don't want to do your job, I guess maybe you should just resign as your position, then it will solve the problem.
You can wish all you want, Clark.
Okay.
Could I still ask you my question?
What was your question?
Well, my question was this. Your 2 employees that you have, would we be having this conversation today if the rules hadn't changed with PERS?
No.
So,
Well, no, they wouldn't have been working. They already told me they were going to work for the amount of money. And then when the PERS thing came up, you know, the county has tried to save $15,000 because you took away their $8,300 for the $24,000. It's a difference of 15 or so. Anyway, in order to save $15,000 or so, it's 24 minus 8,300 application. This has created all this problem. And let me tell you something else is, when somebody has worked 14 years and they've got a PERS benefit, I don't think it's really fair to say you're going to do the same job with a higher volume and we're going to take your benefits away. When you could have paid them $12,000 a year. We are having all this problem because you guys refuse to pay $12,000 a year. That's it. It has caused a lady to sit and work for 3 days. It has caused a complete disruption of the whole system of death in this county because of $12,000 a year. That's it.
it isn't our
But it's not
fault.
a difference of 24. It is your fault for not allocating the money. Okay. It's not your fault.
It's not our fault that PERS changed the way they were.
Until I get back in town.
Are you open up while I'm talking to you?
What is your question?
And my question is, I'm trying to talk
I
to
thought
you.
you asked already.
I did. The way it's part of this first one. The way I look at it is this. PERS is the one that changed what they did, not the county. So, it's not fair that I show up for work or somebody shows up for work every day. The people that you had was on call, right?
$4,150 a year.
And they was
24 hours
willing
a
to
day,
work for that.
365. No, they worked for the PERS benefit. They didn't work for the money.
So they work to get the PERS benefit.
and they had 14 and 8 years on PERS, and they don't get any.
And you think that we should have increased their salary, $8,000 each, to keep them into the PERS system?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that was my question.
Or you can pay doctors, or you can let people sit in the work. I'm leaving for 11 days, by the way, it's gonna be a long time. Remember, I was bad in the fridge.
There's one on this bill that we got, this from Jan 20th. Okay, you brought, just to make that clear, you brought in a contract. We did not sign it, and we sent a letter back stating that we felt this was an unreasonable amount.
Yeah,
And we asked to work with you to see if,
yes,
you know, if you could come up with some other alternative. And we didn't really get an answer on that.
There's no doctor that will cover me in this county. I can apparently get other coroners to cover me. Apparently, it was never asked of me to have coroners cover me. I don't have any employees. I really don't know. I've done everything you've asked me to do. I don't know what else I can do for you.
I think that we still do not have a signed contract, so I'm not sure where that's going to put us as far as
I'm waiting for your signature.
paying the bill.
Well, your signatures need to be on that. I presented to you 5 weeks ago.
But we,
It's in every one of your packets, so don't say you don't have a contract, because you got it. It requires your signature. I'm waiting on your signature.
I think we sent it back and said it was, you know, we felt it was unreasonable.
Well, then don't tell me you're waiting for a contract. If you send it back. Are you waiting on a contract, or are you going to sign a contract? You tell me the answer.
I think
One or the other. You can't tell me that you're waiting on a contract, that you have
we
it.
felt it was unreasonable, so
So there isn't a contract that you're waiting on.
I think we were asking you to look at that contract and see if, that we felt this was unreasonable because
So you're not waiting on a contract, so that was, you misspoke.
we have a contract.
You have it,
That we
so you're not
disagree
waiting on
with,
a
disagree with,
You disagree.
that we feel it's too high.
Doctors aren't cheap.
The other, we didn't get into this, but we have 6 different counties.
Can I ask a question? Did he just refer to human remains as hamburger and say that it spoils in the fridge? I'm a little confused because I think the comments in the last article in the paper said that the commissioners were not compassionate and weren't concerned about victims' families, but then he just referred to their dead relatives as hamburger meat.
I got to work the job if we had a death. I took the initiative and worked with you.
I'm not disagreeing with it all.
And he's saying we're not compassionate, that is BS.
Well, and I can tell you, Clark, when you called me on the phone, you certainly did refer to that poor lady as hamburger meat. I'm
No, I
just
didn't.
asking because I feel that that was highly inappropriate, and I certainly don't talk
Either does his
to that.
job or he resigns. He's an elected official to do a job and he doesn't want to do it, it appears like. If our revised code states that he has to have someone to cover in his absence, and he doesn't do it.
I think our,
Code also says you guys will pay for it, and you aren't doing that either, so.
well,
You're turning into a whole bunch of other stuff.
you talk about budgets. I talked to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, actually we got a reply from 6 other counties, which are within the same population
County and also
budget-wise. We have Adams, Fayette, Gallia, Henry, Pike, Banworth. They're anywhere, the highest one was 102,000. Fayette's, this is for the coroner, was 66,575. Gallia's was 88,000. There's also a question in there, they're different, like they have $25,000, almost 26 for hospitalization, and I'm not sure what that's for, whether that's for the health insurance. Henry County has a coroner's bill of $62,960, Pike is $92,000, Van Wert is $58,000, something like that. So when you compare these 6 counties with ours, we're within the, I mean, I think we're within the ballpark.
The sheriff would like to, if you have something you want to talk about,
Just an alternative to the investigation by the coroner.
pardon?
The alternative that's available to the coroner for investigator for his office. Part highlighted in yellow says that he can employ a deputy or law enforcement officer of the county to do that service if he so chooses.
So, 313.05 of the Ohio Revised Code says, a coroner may appoint as an investigator a deputy sheriff within the county or a law enforcement officer of a political subdivision located within the county.
And I believe that provision is specifically stated because there are rules about conflict, about a particular officer receiving payment or a particular county employee receiving payment from two different county agencies. There has to be a specific provision allowing for that, or someone can't work for, say, the sheriff's department office, and my office is an investigator, or the coroner is an investigator.
It carries overtime issues.
Correct, and because in the past, for example, the prosecutor's office has utilized Logan PD officers as investigators on their off time from Logan PD because it would be a conflict. And at one point, I think it now is specifically addressed in a statute that we can use sheriff's office employees, but in the past, that's not been the case. So that's specifically addressed in there to let people know that that is an option. Otherwise, it would be considered a conflict under the law. I've spoken with other prosecutors and former prosecutors from other counties, and one of them also raised that I believe it's Fairfield County that utilize EMS personnel.
Utilizing what?
EMS personnel. People who would already probably be on the scene anyway, and so perhaps would not expect an extraordinary amount of payment.
I want to know, Wayne, since you're here, what did I do illegally if he says I did illegally?
Presumably, the Athens County Coroner didn't have authority to release the body, but then again, we have an issue of whether or not it was a coroner's case at all, don't we? According to what has been said in the past about bodies of people who have been deceased from natural causes. I believe when this issue came up before, when the gentleman passed away out in Lauraville, we were told, well, that's not a coroner's case anyway, so I don't know why you're upset with me. He died of natural causes and you contacted his physician.
Was there 4 deaths while he was gone?
Not over the 4th of July weekend, I don't think is what's, that was...
Total of 4.
That was the time before.
Okay.
This year.
Okay, now.
It's January.
Okay. I was going to say, I didn't think it was 4 while he was gone.
So during the time that Dr. Grant was allegedly covering, no, I don't believe so. Was that?
We had 2 while he was gone last time that she covered for.
And in this past time, she didn't cover for anything. We contacted Athens and asked if they could, and based on his communication with...
I did a courtesy call to him.
I understand. Based on his communication with the hospital, he spoke with them and they believed it to be a natural death, and that's, I believe,
Because
that's
it was a witnessed death.
it was witnessed.
She died at the hospital. And for her and her family not to be able to get the body from Thursday afternoon until Saturday evening is inexcusable.
I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that Mr. Hill at the funeral home in Kingston said had we waited another day, they would not have been able to have a funeral with her body because they would not have been able to embalm it. Because, you know, hamburger spoils. That was incredibly inappropriate, and I'm incredibly offended. And if I were someone whose family member died in this county, I'd hope to God none of my relatives die here. Because if they are referred to that way, that's completely unacceptable. It's unacceptable to refer to anyone that way. I don't care whose fault it is and whose responsibility it is. I don't care what it costs or who takes care of it. That's not the point. You don't talk about people that way, especially not when you took an oath to care about people.
Yes.
Do you need me for anything else? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I thank you guys. Sheriff. Okay. Mr. Dale? Mr. Dale?
I'm sorry.
You are next, sir.
Yes, ma'am. And the reason I come was, we said at our last meeting, our next meeting date to be August 11th. Everyone thought that was a good time, the date and the location, and then I find out that last week, one of the commissioners from Athens, Commissioner Schmiel, can't make that date. He asked me to approach chairperson, which was out of town until yesterday. And I asked Lenny, are you guys scheduled? And I got the room, I got everything, and without it, we still have a quorum. What's your preference? And he said, please check with the others. So I am here today to check with the others to see if maybe the following Monday, the 18th, would work for a solid waste district board meeting. And I still have to check with Mr. Atkins.
That far in advance, I have nothing down on the 18th.
I wonder what turnaround have going in 2 weeks after that.
I don't think,
No, we were
we usually
gonna-
do the first week of every month, and the fair for Hocking County is that first week, so I would say,
Well, first Monday's Labor Day, September, it's the fair.
so we might want to defer both, if we're going to stagger, or skip one and do the other. Last year, we missed both months, we didn't do one either month, but
We gave them till September
yes.
to come up with a plan and present back to us, so we need to either keep on top of it or hear something or whatever.
I'm just here to say if the 18th, if that works, and
That's fine, 18th will work,
We
yeah.
don't want to move it to the 25th, well, you still want to have one that September.
Well, we've got it, we gave them till September to work something out in the agreement with us.
and I haven't heard anything back from them.
So we need to have a meeting early and not push it on it.
And to emphasize to them, we need something back from them in writing in September, because we're not continuing to operate the way it is.
That's fine.
They're getting a free ride right now.
I know. So let's try to do the August, because
That's sweet.
we don't want to skip August and September both.
If you would pencil down the 18th, Monday the 18th, around 8:30, I'll contact the jail.
Okay.
Beg your pardon? Did that have
8:30.
And then I'll follow that up with Peggy to confirm it. And that's the only reason I'm sorry to bother you today.
We did a contract here, which requires your signature also.
Okay. Oh, must be a lease.
Yes, lease, excuse me.
Oh, no, that's all right.
For $1.
And also for Gary Hunter.
Okay.
Sign, do you want to sign it now?
I can gladly sign it for you.
And the lease runs through to 2020. Okay.
For Mr. Hunter, either next meeting, might catch him, or we can deliver to him, if you want, however you want to do that, that's up to you.
We could probably make copies of this and keep it here, if you want to take the copy to him.
Whatever your preference is, that's...
That would be okay, wouldn't it?
Yeah, do that, because it'll be the 18th before we see
Yes.
everything.
So we'll just make a copy and send this to
Make
the
a copy, give him the original to get signed.
Because the prosecutor has already signed it.
It's all signed to him.
Okay. Well, then I'll make a point to deliver to his office today. That way we'll have it. I'll tell him, you need the original back, make copies of the original back. Thank you. Thank you.
And we're planning to see you then in August.
Yeah. I know.
How you doing, young man?
Okay. I'll take it directly to his office today.
Thank you.
And as soon as he gets it to me, I'll bring it back to you. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Well, is there any business to be brought before the board?
Did you second, John?
He hasn't seconded, he's second.
I said I don't have anything else that I see.
Everyone in favor, signal by saying aye. The motion is already made. You seconded it. The coroner forgot his keys.